Have you ever held an egg in your hand and wondered if it might hold the key to unlocking hidden strength within your body? For years, eggs have been at the center of heated health debates, sometimes praised as a golden food and other times labeled a heart attack on a plate. But what if I told you that eating 2 eggs a day could bring remarkable and unexpected changes to your health? This familiar food opens a serious conversation about the heart, where life is sustained with every beat. While many people start their mornings with a quick breakfast that includes eggs, few stop to think that this choice is directly affecting their blood vessels, blood pressure, and heart attack risk. In this video, we will carefully examine both the nutritional benefits and the hidden dangers of eggs for cardiovascular health. We will rely on the latest scientific evidence to determine whether cholesterol in egg yolks truly clogs arteries and to understand what actually happens inside your heart when you eat eggs daily. You will discover findings that have led the medical field to adjust its recommendations, as well as important truths that, if ignored, could cause you to unknowingly contribute to the development of a silent yet extremely dangerous heart attack. We will explore each biological process from the moment saturated fat enters the body to the way it affects the elasticity of blood vessels, the pumping capacity, and the contraction strength of the heart muscle. This journey is not meant to frighten you, but to give you a realistic, balanced, and complete perspective on a food that millions consume every day. You will understand why some people can eat eggs their entire lives and remain healthy, while others develop high blood fats, irregular heartbeat, or unusual fatigue within just weeks. Most importantly, you will learn how to manage egg consumption in a way that fits your own cardiovascular health, rather than following general advice that ignores age, medical history, or lifestyle. But before we begin, I have a question for you. Do you have the courage to face the truth about the link between your daily diet and the hidden risk of heart attack that you may be carrying without realizing it? Because what you are about to hear could change the way you choose food today and for the rest of your life. 2 eggs every morning may be an excellent source of nutrition, but they can also act as a silent trigger for a first heart attack if you do not fully understand their impact. Join me as we take this step-by-step journey into your heart and uncover what is really happening inside. The information in this video is for educational purposes only and is not a substitute for professional medical advice. Always consult your doctor or a qualified specialist before making any changes to your diet or heart health routine. If you believe this is an important topic, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and let us know where you are watching from. We look forward to walking alongside you in the journey of protecting your heart every day. We will count down from 13 to 1 to uncover the remarkable effects that eggs can have on heart health. Number 13. Inside the fragile shell of an egg lies a rich source of nutrients, but what worries many people most is the connection between eggs and the risk of heart attack. Eggs are often called a superfood because of their dense nutrition in a small serving, yet the cholesterol content in eggs has long been blamed for raising the risk of cardiovascular disease. One large egg contains about 186 milligrams of cholesterol, mostly in the yolk, and for years this made eggs a target of controversy over high blood fats and atherosclerosis. Medical experts once advised people at risk for heart disease, especially older adults and those with existing heart or blood pressure problems, to avoid eggs. But as nutrition science has advanced, this view has shifted, with studies showing that not all dietary cholesterol directly affects blood cholesterol levels. More importantly, the body can regulate its own cholesterol production. For some people, eating eggs does not raise harmful LDL cholesterol and may even increase HDL, the good cholesterol that helps remove unhealthy fats from blood vessels. However, this does not mean everyone can eat eggs freely without consequences. In those with sensitivity, genetic risk, or existing heart disease, consuming multiple eggs daily may still increase the risk of arterial spasms, plaque buildup, and sudden blockage that leads to myocardial infarction. Cooking methods also matter. Frying eggs in oil or pairing them with red meat and cheese increases the total amount of saturated fat in the meal, which places dangerous strain on the heart and raises the chance of ischemia. Although eggs provide valuable nutrients such as choline, vitamin D, and high-quality protein, uncontrolled consumption or overly frequent use can put older adults and people with a history of heart disease at serious risk. The key question is not whether eggs are good or bad, but who is eating them, how many are being eaten, and in what way they are prepared. The real issue to consider is not simply how nutrient-rich eggs are, but whether your heart truly needs that amount of cholesterol every single day.
Number 12. The relationship between eggs and heart attacks continues to reveal complex and challenging aspects that require careful analysis. According to recent medical research, dietary cholesterol, particularly from eggs, is no longer viewed as a direct cause of higher LDL cholesterol levels in most healthy individuals. While the yolk does contain cholesterol, the human body has a self-regulating mechanism that reduces its own production when dietary cholesterol increases. More importantly, some studies show that regular egg consumption within a balanced diet can raise HDL, or good cholesterol, which helps remove excess cholesterol from the arteries and supports the liver in keeping blood vessels clear. This reduces plaque buildup and arterial blockages, thereby lowering the risk of heart attack. Beyond its indirect effect on blood fats, eggs also contain powerful antioxidants such as lutein and zeaxanthin, compounds proven to reduce inflammation and oxidative stress, both of which are key drivers of cardiovascular disease. In addition, the monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fats found in eggs help balance blood lipids, protect the vascular lining, and lower the risk of clot formation. When these factors are stabilized, the chance of ischemia or acute myocardial infarction is significantly reduced. Number 11. Some clinical studies indicate that eating one egg per day as part of a balanced diet does not increase the risk of heart attack in healthy adults and may even provide certain cardiovascular benefits. In some cases, consuming 2 eggs per day is still considered safe if there are no additional risk factors such as high blood pressure, diabetes, or lipid disorders. However, it is critical to understand that there is no single safe intake level that applies to everyone. For those who have had a heart attack, coronary artery disease, or elevated cholesterol, egg consumption must be carefully managed under the guidance of a cardiologist to avoid adding extra strain to an already compromised heart. Thanks to advances in nutritional science, eggs are no longer seen solely as a threat to heart health, but are now evaluated in a more comprehensive light. Still, these benefits are only realized when overall daily fat intake is controlled and combined with other healthy lifestyle choices. At a time when heart attack rates continue to rise, especially among older adults, understanding the role of eggs in a daily diet can be an important factor in improving quality of life and extending longevity safely. Your heart deserves protection through knowledge and through the right choices each day, starting with something as simple as how you eat an egg.
Number 10. Eggs play a key role in supporting heart health by helping maintain muscle mass. They are a complete source of protein rich in essential amino acids that the body cannot produce on its own. One of the most important is leucine, which supports the repair and growth of muscle tissue, including the heart muscle. Protecting and preserving strong cardiac muscle is vital for effective blood pumping and for reducing the risk of heart failure in older adults. Eggs, with their high bioavailability and easy digestibility, allow the body to absorb nutrients efficiently, especially after periods of physical stress or exertion when the heart needs extra energy and repair. In addition to protein, eggs provide iron and phosphorus, minerals necessary for oxygen transport in the blood and for stabilizing heart muscle activity. B vitamins in eggs support efficient energy metabolism, helping the heart work continuously without becoming overloaded. Vitamin D in the yolk contributes to reducing age-related loss of heart muscle mass, indirectly protecting the heart from strain and decline over time. Together, these factors make eggs a useful part of a diet to support cardiovascular health, particularly in those at risk for heart attack. Number 9. Eggs may contribute to longevity by protecting the cardiovascular system against long-term damage. They are rich in antioxidants such as lutein and zeaxanthin, which combat chronic inflammation and oxidative stress, 2 leading drivers of vascular aging and endothelial cell damage. By reducing inflammation, eggs help prevent arterial stiffening and keep blood vessels elastic, lowering the risk of high blood pressure and myocardial infarction. In addition, choline in eggs supports liver function and helps reduce visceral fat, thereby decreasing strain on the heart and circulation. Another key benefit is the ability to preserve muscle mass, particularly heart and respiratory muscles, thanks to eggs' high-quality protein content. Loss of muscle mass with age raises the risk of falls, immobility, and impaired cardiovascular recovery after illness. For this reason, eating 1 to 2 eggs daily can help maintain strength and protect the heart against the natural changes that come with aging. Number 7. Each egg, especially the yolk, contains nutrients that can help protect the heart against heart attack risk when consumed wisely. Two key components are lutein and zeaxanthin, commonly recognized for their role in eye health, but equally important for reducing vascular inflammation and preventing plaque buildup in the arterial walls. Silent damage to the endothelium is one of the processes that promotes blood clot formation, a direct cause of heart attacks. Antioxidants like lutein neutralize free radicals in circulation, lowering oxidative stress, which is a major trigger for vascular inflammation and arterial stiffening over time. Number 6. Another vital nutrient in eggs for heart protection is choline. Choline is essential for building cell membranes and supporting fat metabolism, reducing visceral fat accumulation, and improving liver function. This is particularly important because fatty liver disease and metabolic disorders are closely linked to cardiovascular risk. Choline also helps regulate homocysteine levels in the blood. Elevated homocysteine is known to damage blood vessels and accelerate atherosclerosis, thereby increasing the likelihood of myocardial infarction. Each egg provides a significant amount of choline, helping to keep homocysteine levels within a safe range. Number 5. The B vitamins in eggs, such as B6, B9, and B12, play an essential role in homocysteine metabolism and cardiovascular support. When the body lacks these vitamins, the risk of endothelial damage increases, raising the likelihood of heart attack or stroke. Including eggs in the diet in proper amounts helps support circulation, maintain strong blood vessels, and aid in controlling blood pressure by improving systemic inflammatory responses. Because eggs contain nutrients directly tied to vascular health and circulation, they not only support memory and brain function, but also act as a link in reducing the risk of heart attack, especially in those with risk factors such as hypertension, high cholesterol, or a history of cardiovascular disease. Eggs are not the enemy. They can be part of the solution, provided you understand your body and eat them under medical guidance. Number 4. Eggs can be a valuable choice in the diet of those concerned about heart attack risk because of their unique nutritional profile. With a glycemic index close to 0, eggs do not raise blood sugar and therefore avoid sudden insulin spikes, which are linked to metabolic disorders and cardiovascular disease. When insulin remains elevated for long periods, the body stores more visceral fat, blood pressure rises, and blood vessels sustain damage, paving the way for atherosclerosis, one of the primary causes of myocardial infarction. Regular, moderate egg consumption helps stabilize blood glucose, improve insulin sensitivity, and ease the burden on the heart and vascular system. Thanks to their balance of protein and healthy fats, eggs provide steady energy and help control appetite, reducing the need for sugary foods and refined carbohydrates that drive up blood lipids and vascular inflammation. Over time, these harmful dietary patterns destroy the endothelium, promote cholesterol plaque buildup, narrow the arteries, and increase the chance of heart attack. Beyond nourishment for muscle tissue, egg protein helps regulate hormones and reduce systemic inflammation, a root cause of many serious cardiovascular conditions. When eggs are combined with fiber-rich foods such as vegetables or whole grains, the benefits for stabilizing blood glucose and lipid levels are amplified, while also lowering the risk of endothelial inflammation. A diet that includes high-quality protein from eggs alongside other healthy eating habits can help protect the cardiovascular system from severe complications, such as myocardial infarction, particularly in high-risk groups like older adults, those with obesity, or individuals with metabolic disorders. Eggs are not just nutritious food. They can be a strategic ally in reducing cardiovascular triggers when used wisely. Number 3. The way eggs are prepared directly affects their impact on cardiovascular health and the risk of myocardial infarction. The best method to preserve heart protective nutrients without adding excess fat is boiling, as this maintains essential vitamins and minerals intact. Gentle cooking methods such as poaching also help retain antioxidants and B vitamins, both critical for protecting the endothelium and preventing inflammation and atherosclerosis. If frying is preferred, use minimal oil, choose healthier plant-based oils such as olive oil, and combine eggs with vegetables to offset saturated fat intake. Most importantly, raw eggs should be avoided, as bacterial contamination can weaken the immune system and increase vascular inflammation, which is a precursor to a heart attack. Eggs only become truly safe and heart-friendly when cooked properly. Number 2. Choosing safe eggs is also part of protecting the heart at its core. Cracked shells or unhealthy-looking surfaces may harbor bacteria that inflame blood vessels, while poor storage conditions can compromise their safety and add strain to the heart. This is especially critical for people with cardiovascular disease or those on heart medications. Always choose eggs with intact shells, keep them refrigerated in their original packaging until use, and reduce bacterial risk that could indirectly threaten the cardiovascular system.
Number 1. If you cannot eat eggs due to heart disease, allergies, or physician guidance, it is still important to replace them with equivalent nutrient sources to support heart health. High-quality protein alternatives such as tofu or legumes can substitute for eggs, providing nourishment for the heart muscle without raising blood lipid levels. Adapting to proper dietary alternatives ensures vascular protection and stable blood pressure, lowering the risk of heart attack. Protecting the endothelium through proper cooking methods and safe food choices is not just a matter of eating habits, but a proactive way of safeguarding your heart. The heart needs not only nourishing foods, but also safe and thoughtful preparation tailored to individual health conditions. Making smart and balanced dietary choices helps build a healthier future with plenty of safe cooking methods and alternatives available for those who do not eat eggs. Whether your goal is longevity, sharper focus, or better overall health, remember that real change begins with what you put on your plate. Thank you for watching this video until the very end. Your attention and support are the greatest motivation for us to continue sharing valuable information about heart health. If you found this video helpful, please leave a comment, give it a like, and share it with your loved ones. Wishing you good health and peace always.